multiple programs.
Before you switch cable TV providers, make sure they carry your local access channel right now. Ask before you switch.
Okay, let's roll. Hey, you hear that? There's a truck back there. Hey, whoa, stop!
Your car is talking. Are you listening? Find out more about new safety technologies at mycardoeswhat.org.
And Chris covers the Bears for the Herald. We just got. Oh, the mic's on. Okay, today is Tuesday, March 26, 2024. We call the Village Board meeting order. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Frankie?
Here.
Trustee Miller?
Here.
Trustee Prochnow?
Here.
Trustee Schmidt?
Here.
Okay, we do have a quorum. Four members are here tonight. Two could not make it. Next, we move on. We have an invocation from Pastor Stefan Petusnik from Christus Victor Church and the Pledge of Allegiance. Everyone, please rise.
Is it on?
Pastor, it's all yours.
On. Okay. Let us pray. Creator God, this is a special week for Christians all over the world as we remember your Son's journey to the cross. On Monday, Thursday, Jesus met with his disciples in an upper room to celebrate the Passover meal. Here he took bread, gave thanks, broke it, and gave it to his disciples, saying, "Take and eat. This is my body." Then he took the cup, saying, "Drink from it, all of you. This cup is the new covenant in my blood, which is poured out for many for the forgiveness of sins. Do this whenever you drink it in remembrance of me." After his Last Supper, Jesus went into the Garden Gethsemane to pray to his Father for help and mercy. Soon after Jesus prayed, he was arrested and nailed to the cross, where he suffered great pain. Before he took his last breath, he said, "Father, forgive them. They do not know what they are doing." On Easter morning, women walked to the tomb to anoint the dead body of Jesus for the last time, but the tomb was empty. A person in white asked them, "Why are you looking for the living among the dead?" And shortly after, the risen Lord called them by name and told them to share the good news of the living Christ. Mary Magdalene was the first who announced, "I have seen the Lord." Let us all be inspired by this good news that death lost its power. There is hope and light even in the darkest places. May the good news of resurrection guide this board meeting and let eternal hope shine through our decision making. We pray that this resurrection news will bring hope and peace to all places of conflict and war, in our communities, in Ukraine, in Russia, and in Israel and Palestine. Let us now all pray together the prayer that Jesus taught us. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
Thank you. Please be. Oh wait. Pledge allegiance. Flags to my right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Folks, please be seated. Pastor, hang on a second. Thank you as always. That's very inspirational as always. Thank you. Big holiday coming up. Probably the most important holiday coming up. From Good Friday to the Sunday.
Thank you.
Enjoy. Thank you for everything.
God bless you. Have a good
Thank
evening.
you. Okay, we move on now to the approval of the minutes of March 12th, 2024. Chris?
Oh, sorry. I was watching Pastor walk out. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I move that we approve the minutes of March 12, 2024 as presented and dispense with the reading.
We have motion by trustee Prochnow, second by trustee Miller. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Let the record show unanimous approval. We move on now to Mayor and Board of Trustees report. Just a couple items tonight. First off, back on Wednesday of last week, March 20th, we had the Japanese exchange students back here in Oak Grove at the high school, and they came by to visit with us. We had a great opportunity to talk to them. It's funny how different cultures, different, but at the end of the day, they're still high school students, still the same. So it's great to have them come by, chance to see the fire, police department, the village hall, and government here in Elk Grove. Next, I'd like to read a letter that we got and explain kind of why timing works out. It's addressed to Officer Malik here in police department. I hope you're doing well. I want to take a moment to express my heartfelt gratitude to you and the entire Elk Grove Police Department for hosting Citizens Police Academy last fall. Participating in the academy was an incredibly enriching experience, and I'm sincerely grateful for the opportunity. One aspect of the program that truly resonated with me was the insightful discussion about Elk Grove Cares. While I previously come across information about Elk Grove Cares in the village newsletter, it wasn't until attending the Citizens Police Academy and hearing from the dedicated social workers that I truly understood its significance. I'd like to share a personal story that underscores the impact of this program on my family. My stepbrother, I'll leave blank, has been grappling with the addiction for quite some time. Despite making progress, he unfortunately experienced a relapse just after Christmas, setting off a chain of events that led to a dire situation involving him and his younger brother. With my stepfather serving as a 9/11 supervisor for the Northbrook Police Department and my mother as a Chicago police dispatcher, we are all deeply invested in finding the best possible help for the two gentlemen. However, we started running into many challenges when trying to get them into treatment centers. Was getting denied for programs because he had an out-of-state insurance and knowing it would not be a good option to live with his other brother again. We were looking for inpatient facility for him. Fortunately, thanks for the knowledge gained in the Citizens Police Academy, Elk Grove Cares came to mind as a potential resource. I recall learning that the program extends support to individuals battling addiction, regardless of their residency status. My father promptly reached out to Talia, who's one of our social workers, and with her assistance, both gentlemen were able to secure placements in suitable treatment centers. The fact that we had access to such valuable resource during a stressful time provided immense relief and support. I cannot overstate how grateful I am for the Citizens Police Academy program and the invaluable initiatives spearheaded by the Elk Grove Police Department and the Elk Grove Cares. Once again, thank you for your dedication to serving the community and for making programs like Citizens Police Academy and the Elk Grove Cares program available to those in need. Your efforts truly make a difference in people's lives. The reason I bring that up is, as you came in tonight, you probably saw, we have a Narcan vending machine out in the hallway. That was opened up in June of this year. To date, 271 Narcan units have been picked up there and hopefully used to help save people's lives. Again, Elk Grove Cares program is here to help people fighting the disease of addiction. I'll say it again, the disease of addiction. Like heart disease, like cancer, a disease that we need to help fight, help people beat, and help people get cured. And letters like this talking how people are taking advantage of this opportunity and saving lives really makes a difference and makes us proud. So, Deputy Chief Burke, pass on again to Officer Malik and the rest how much we appreciate all their efforts and work and assistance. And I tell you know, too, that we appreciate her efforts and social workers on that. So, thank you for that. Next, I want to remind people on April 11th, across the street at the Garden Terrace Room at the Pavilion, we got our Envision program. That is our long-term plan for this village for the next decades to come. Developments, re-envisioning different areas and stuff like that. It's open for the public to come, look at some ideas, give us your input, your feedback. We want to hear from you. Again, these are ideas. Doesn't mean it's going to be done exactly like it, but it's prospective ideas that may occur, and we want to hear from you. So it's from 6 to 11 over at the Garden Terrace on April 11th, Thursday night.
Mayor, you said 6 to 11.
or 6 to 8 on April 11th. I apologize. 6 to 8 on April 11th. Thank you, Trustee Bucknell. Also tonight, as people know, the village has been buying property when we had opportunities in the industrial park. And tonight, on our consent agenda, we have 3 sales occurring. We had bought the building at 500 Higgins and 570 Higgins, right next door to each other, right very close to the new technology park. Tonight, we have contracts. We're going to be selling those and closing Thursday, right? We'll be closing Thursday. And that will be 2 industrial buildings coming. I know people like to jump on Facebook, oh, more data centers. No, these are 2 industrial buildings. We have a whole cross-section coming to Elk Grove. And then we'll also sell our property at 2300 East Higgins. That was the office building that was at one time going to be converted to a hotel. That was right around COVID time, fell through. The village opportunity to purchase it. Now we're selling that, and the building at the corner next to it used to be it's a Blue Shopping Center, old strip mall. They're going to combine that strip piece of land with our piece of land, and Road Ranger is coming in and putting a big fueling facility for trucks and cars at that location. Kind of like what Love's has on Bussey Road further to the south, or to the west. So, or south actually, they're further southwest. So they're coming to that location. What does that mean for Elk Grove? When up and fully operational, that could be an additional $200,000 to $400,000 a year in sales tax back to the village. So we're very excited about that. We're excited about these going forward. So again, if we have opportunities to get control of the property, we're going to take advantage of that. And there's other properties we're looking at that's going to be coming up. We take advantage of it. We control what's going to happen there. And again, we got 2 nice brand new. That Higgins Road corridor is changing dramatically. 2 nice new buildings going there. Of course, we got the whole new development going at Higgins in Arlington Heights Road with the shopping and the apartments there by the old bowling alley location. And now down, that blue strip shopping center has been vacant for years and years. Torn down, nice new Road Rangers, something our companies use all the time. Truck fueling's important. We have them come to Elk Grove than go down the street to Bensonville to get it. So we're excited about that, and it worked out well. Again, by us having that piece, we're able to put the whole thing together. Also, I believe last item, I'm going to brag a little bit. I'm a grandpa again for the 10th time. My youngest daughter, my 3 older kids each have 3 children. My youngest one had her first one last week. So baby Arlo was born at Alexian Brothers last Wednesday. So 10, Mr. Knickerbocker.
This is good.
Not bad. 5 boys, 5 girls, all even. So we're proud of it. He's doing well. And Arlo Gonzalez is now make 20, getting to be a big family. So we want to borrow your house for Thanksgiving, if you don't mind.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, with that said, we're going to move on to trustees' report. Trustee Miller?
Thank you. Congratulations to Kyle Barrett. He is an administrator at Elk Grove High School. He was named the Illinois Association for Career and Technical Education Administrator of the Year Award. And he was named that because he supports all the career education that is happening at Elk Grove High School, that's happening with all the manufacturing and the career technology. I'm so happy for Kyle. He's a great person. I would also like to talk about some scholarships that are available. One is the Fallen Soldier Memorial Scholarship. It is a partnership between the village, the Community Character Coalition, the Friends of the Library, and the Shen Yuen Temple. There are 4 $2,000 scholarships, and the deadline is April 19th. So seniors that are looking for some scholarship money, please make sure that you visit the ccceg.org website or the village website at elkgrove.org. Also, I got lots of stuff to talk about. The Help Our Veterans. They are doing a clothing and essential drive to help Midwest Shelter for Homeless Veterans Saturday, April 13th. The drop-off is at the VFW post, and that is from 9 a.m. until noon again on April 13th. They're looking for new items such as clothing, household items, kitchen items, bedding, cleaning supplies, bathroom items, and personal care. We want to help the VFW and the veterans. Speaking of the CCC, the Community Character Coalition, there's going to be a new initiative coming in May for the whole community. I haven't brought this up to the board or to anybody yet, but more details will be coming in May, and all I can say is chalk it up to character. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Trustee Miller. Trustee Jeffrey Charles Frankie.
Well, so you covered all my character stuff. I have no report.
Trustee Prochnow.
Just a reminder, we still have the Winters Farmer Market going on at the Christus Victor Church every other Saturday through the end of April. There will be a farmer's market this Saturday, March 30th, from 9 a.m. till 1 p.m. at the church. There's a variety of baked goods, crafts, there's a knife sharpener, all kinds of different vendors there. And please come and check it out. Again, like I said, it's every other Saturday, and it will go till the end of April, and then we'll be opening up our summer market in May. On Friday, March 15th, I had the opportunity to go to the spring open house for the Elk Grove Senior Center at the Al Hettendorf Center. The Senior Center is open to all residents and non-residents that buy a membership that are over 55 years and over, that didn't sound right, that are over 55, are 55 or over 55. Anyway, some of the things that they offer at the Senior Center, and it was pretty amazing to me, even though I worked there back in the 90s, I forgot what a wide range of things they offered, include daily hot lunch, Wii bowling, bingo, card playing, movies, walking club, crafts, ceramics, crochet, health programs, safety programs, legal consultation, and a sampling of recreation and services offers. So please visit there and stop by. If you're a senior and you got a little spare time on your hands and you want to make some new friends, stop on over and get to know them. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Trustee Schmidt.
Yes, we're in the midst of our Sister City student exchange with our students from Elk Grove High School are in Sicily right now, and we've been getting a lot of nice pictures from them. They're having a great time, and they'll be back at the end of this week. So this is, again, our first student exchange since COVID. So kind of starting over, but everybody's enjoying it, and we're looking forward when they get back to start working on our Sister Cities exchange for the 2024-2025 school year. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Trustee Schmidt. Accounts payable warrant for March 26, 2024.
I move that we approve the accounts payable warrant for March 26, 2024 in the amount of $474,011.66.
Second.
We have a motion by Trustee Prochnow, second by Trustee Frankie. Lori, can you call the roll, please?
Trustee Frankie?
Aye.
Trustee Miller?
Aye.
Trustee Prochnow?
Aye.
Trustee Schmidt?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. Next, we have consent agenda items. A is in apple, through N is in negative. Just throw it out there. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
We have a motion by Trustee Frankie, second by Trustee Miller. Anybody here on the consent agenda items? This has nothing to do with Marshall Park, just consent agenda. Okay, seeing none, hearing none, without objection, record the votes, please demonstrate 4-0. Now we're going to switch so we can get folks here for the zoning board, because that'll be a quick item. We'll do zoning board of appeals first. Mr. Matthew Roan.
Sure. On March 14th, the Zoning Board of Appeals met to hear ZBA docket 24-1 with the petitioner seeking a variation from the zoning ordinance as it pertains to permitted locations for fences in residential zone districts for property at 400 Bianco. And it was the consensus of the ZBA by a 5-0 vote to grant the requested variation.
Okay. Are the folks here for the fence? Okay. You're fine. Any questions for any board members? If not, can we prepare the attorney necessary documents for next board meeting? A motion?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Trustee Miller, second by Trustee Frankie. Voice vote. Yeah. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Let the record show unanimous approval. So what's going to happen is you do not need to return in 2 weeks. It's a mere formality. You have our permission to go ahead and build the fence whenever you're ready. Work with our department. I know weather's kind of so-so, but if you want to start any time, you have our permission. We want to thank you for, 1, improving your place, making it better. 2, for working with the zoning board and going through the process. So we thank you very much. So you're good to go. Thank you very much. Okay, Plan Commission. Tonight on Plan Commission, we had a finding of fact from the Plan Commission on a request from the Elk Grove Park District. I know Ben Curcio, the director of the parks, is here tonight, wanted to address the board. So Ben, if you want to come on down.
Thank you for the I'm grateful for the opportunity to speak here tonight. I just have a brief statement. Let me begin by stating to the residents of the vicinity of Marshall Park, we want to assure you that the district hears your concerns and is dedicated to maintaining open communication. As we explore options for pickleball facilities within the community, with this in mind, we respectfully request the village to postpone the proposal for the pickleball courts for the time being. Instead, give thoughtful consideration to our proposal for installing lights solely on the soccer field.
Okay, so what Ben's asking us is to make it generically understandable, table the pickleball portion for some time as you guys still do, due diligence and work on that with neighbors and all the rest?
Yep.
You want us to table
or
that?
also look at other options out there in the community.
And other options that might be available?
Yep.
And you still want us to look at the lighting of the soccer field?
Yes.
Okay. If we were to look at this, because there's been a finding of fact on the whole package, if we look at the soccer field on its own lighting, I'm sure the board's request is going to be that they stay on no later than 9 p.m. Is that something that's fine from your original request of 10?
I think the park district can work with that.
They work with 9 p.m.?
Yeah.
Okay. So is the board, first off, is the board comfortable if the finding of fact from the Plan Commission was a 6-2 vote to turn down the entire project? What Ben's asking us now is, can we look at, there's two main components to the project. One was the soccer field lights. The second one is development of a pickleball courts with lights of their own. So is the board comfortable if we separate those in two separate items?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep. Any objection? Okay, Ben, go ahead and have a seat for one. So then what we'll do is we will basically, with the board's concurrence to separate them, I'll ask for the concurrence to table, so to say, table, abeyance is a formal word, abeyance, but table that motion for a future time when the parts are returned to us, and either ask us to consider what they originally proposed, drop what they originally proposed, or some other thing they may come up with. Is that okay?
Right now, it's wide open. What wouldn't happen, yes.
Okay, so what happens then? Okay, so can I have a motion to table or put in abeyance the pickleball portion of the Plan Commission's finding?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by trustee Schmidt, second by trustee Frankie. All in favor, signify, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Let the record unanimously show it passed. Folks, what that means here for this portion is, as far as pickleball goes, no action's going to be taken on that tonight. In other words, that's put down the road. The Parks District has indicated when they had the public hearing, one of the first indications was, Caroline was representing the village there at the time, was this is the first step in a process. They're going to do more information gathering. We're going to give them time to study that issue further. So we're not going to act on the Plan Commission's recommendation on pickleball. So nothing about pickleball is going to be decided tonight. It's not going to be said yes or no. It's not going to be discussed. They'll come back at their time they want to and say, hey, Mayor and Board, drop pickleball from Marshall. Or they say, hey, Mayor, we have another idea for Marshall. We'll address it at that time. So that's gone. What they did ask us to do is separate out the lights at the soccer field as a separate issue, because there's really two main components what they brought before the Plan Commission. One was pickleball and lights. The other one was lights for the soccer field that's already there that they're going to improve. We are willing to look at the lights for the soccer field tonight as a separate issue. The Plan Commission did not separate them out. That was their decision. I'm not going to say if they did right or wrong. That was their decision on one of our commissions. So it may have been a different decision. If they did or didn't, we'll never know that. So we're going to look at the lights as an issue. We'll decide tonight if they can have them. As you heard, if we do decide to go forward with the lights at the soccer field, they will only operate till 9 p.m. They won't go to 10 p.m. as originally requested. So it'll go to 9 p.m. So before we make any decisions up here on the lights, I will give anyone here the opportunity, if they want to discuss the lights at the soccer field. That's all we're going to discuss. You have a chance to do it. My understanding at the Plan Commission hearing, the lights at the soccer field was not a big topic. The main topic was pickleball. When I look at the request to talk, the vast majority were talking about the pickleball courts. That's not on docket tonight. It's not been approved to build, and nothing's happened with that. That's off tonight. Does anybody wish to talk to us about the lights for the soccer field tonight? Yes, ma'am. Come on down. All we ask is you state your name and address for the public record. This is a public meeting. We appreciate that.
Lori Christensen, 805 Cosman. I'm 100% against the lights. When we had the original meetings and any meeting we ever had on this park, it was a dusk to dawn park. The fact that the soccer field is a large soccer field, that wasn't supposed to be there either. So for us to light up what we already agreed we weren't going to have, to me, is absolutely not acceptable.
Now, just so I look, I'm sorry. Ms.
There was a
Christensen.
small,
The
there was a
soccer
small,
field has been there for decades.
smaller one,
Okay, but it's still a soccer field.
but it was never supposed to be this. It was going to be a little kid's soccer field, is what we were told, dusk to dawn on the park,
Right.
and therefore no reason to have lights. Plus, if you have lights in the back, when you turn them off, everybody's supposed to then walk through the dark parking lot back, dark park back to the parking lot. Somehow or other, we'll probably end up with lights everywhere if we have any.
Well, there's lights in the parking lot.
No, I'm
there's
talking
lights
about all the way through the park. If the rest of the park has no lights and you're lit at the very farthest part in the back, that doesn't make sense.
So you'd like to see lights along the paths?
I'd like to see no lights at all, which is what we agreed to.
Okay. Well, no one agreed to it.
We did when our commission, as we were working with the planning commission on what was supposed to go in there. There's some other changes that are
Oh, okay.
absolutely not there.
So,
If we're going to stay on lights, we'll stay on lights, but lights is on a soccer field that should not have been there in that size or being used for what it's going to be used for.
okay, we appreciate your opinion. Thank you. Hang on a second. Understand this. I was born in 1960 here, so I got 64 years here. Things change. The parks in Elk Grove are not what they were when I was a kid growing up in the 60s here. Things change. What people like to do change. What they don't like to do change. You know, like they're putting a Fountain Square Park there. We never even knew what a Fountain Square Park was. They built the first one on the west side of the village over by Meade Junior High. Things change over times, and that will happen. You know, and if you don't change with times, no one uses it. Parks are meant to be enjoyed and used by the public. We want them to enjoy and use. I understand, and that's what we're looking at. We want to make sure any change that occur that falls under our purview. Remember, most park stuff never comes before the village board. They got their own duly elected board of commissioners. They make decisions. Some things, that when they're modified, because this used to be a school, now it's park development, does fall back under our purview. But again, parks are meant to be used and enjoyed by people from all over the place. Most of the time it's Elk Grove people, and that's the way it should be. I grew up on Osborne Park, the first park in the village, over there by Oakton, Higgins, Wildwood, by the shopping center. That thing, they, 15 years old, maybe mid-70s, they put in tennis courts. They put in a basketball court. They changed it, and still there have been tennis courts and basketball courts. It changed. So those people that had butts to had nothing there for a long time. We played baseball there. Then change to that. Things going to happen. Parks are great to be neighbors by, but also understand it's not a private park. It's not just what you want because you live by there. It's what serves everyone. I only live a block from Marshall Park, so I'm a local also. So, you know, I'm there. Again, we want to make sure what they do enhances the park as they see for more people, but also is not overly duly unburdensome to the neighbors around the park. But changes are going to happen in parks, and they should. I commend the park district. They're spending $3 million to fix up that park. Remember, that was not really a park before. It was a school. It was Marshall School. It was Marshall, Clifford, huh? Daniel Cook. Yeah, Cook School, right. So it's been many school names, but it's been a school for decades. So, and then the township had it. So now it's being developed into a park, and I commend the parks for investing that kind of money. It's going to be beautiful when they're done. Walking trail, plants. They're going to take care of drainage issues. Some of the homeowners in this room tonight had some water issues in their backyard by their house. This park's going to fix that for them. That's a nice change for them. So again, and the big thing, remember, is this. Lights are different than they used to be by fields. Lights used to be horrible because they would be set at an angle and they shot across, so anything on the other side had it in the windows of the house. Lights aren't done that way anymore. They're taller and they go down, they don't go out, which is definitely beneficial to people that live by lighted areas. So, you know, and I know the Park District had an expert light guy and actually did a very nice presentation on the impact of lights at the Plan Commission meeting. Did a very good job. So, but with that in mind, that's why the board said 9 o'clock is late enough to have lights in respect to the homeowners that are by there. Usually most people don't go to bed before 9. And remember, they won't be operational in the wintertime, don't play soccer in December. They don't need them in the summertime because it stays light till 9 o'clock. So you basically 2-3 months in the spring, 2-3 months in the fall. But if it gives a chance for kids to have more opportunity to enjoy outdoor activity, sports, and it's not overly burdensome to the neighbors, we should encourage that. We always complain our kids sit there on their phones all the time, or they're on the internet all the time. This is a chance to get the kids out doing something different. That's a good thing, not a bad thing. So, with that, anybody else want to talk about the lights? First, you go, Jeff, you don't mind? Go ahead, sir. Come on down. Yeah. Hang on, ma'am. Hang on. Go ahead.
Good evening. My name's Bill Lavin. I live at 299 Shelley Road. Thank you for your time and service. And I'm completely caught off guard here. I do not know how to approach this. You said to stay focused on lights, but I have to approach the soccer field. The soccer field has been moved further north and further east. So these lights will be closer to the people to the north and to the east. It's not just the lights. It's they're playing on the soccer field. Now they do not have a buffer zone between the houses to the north and the soccer field. And you're going to put these lights even closer to the residential area. You got to take the whole package. Once you light that area, are the kids going to be playing basketball? Are the kids going to be in the play area? Are they going to be hanging out in the rest area that the building they're building right there? I mean, right now, I do not understand where we stand on this. We went to the Planning Commission and we talked about pickleball and we talked about the lights. That brings in congestion. They talked about parking and the congestion involved with that, and they pointed out a study by the Elk Grove Police Department that said the 66 spots were sufficient. But yet that did not take into consideration something I'm not supposed to talk about, pickleball. But that still brings in more people here. So I don't understand what the rules are. Park District for 60 years plus, the neighborhood parks have been dawn to dust. And I do not know why or what benefit it serves by getting away from that. Thank you very much.
Now, if I can, a couple things, Bob. Not all parks been dawn to dusk. Lions Parks had lights since I was a kid.
Does not have houses around it.
Yes, it does. Right behind it on Lion, right by the, you got the light field.
Along
the
Salt Creek?
Yeah, right there. They back up right to it. They're closer than they are, the lights are closer to those homes than your house. They're closer. They're there. We have lights at Audubon. We have lights at on the west side. Pardon? Clark Park. We have lights around.
Clark Park, I looked at that specifically. Those lights and that tennis area is close to the village maintenance area.
No, the light's right there. It's right by that one house at the end of the street.
There's no recreation area right there. They light up from what I understand, they light up the tennis courts there, but as far away from residential as you could get for that neighborhood. They're in the far east and north side of that
But there's
park.
lights by these other ones that are close to homes. Remember, all of our parks are surrounded basically by homes. They're neighborhood parks. We don't want them in the industrial park. We want them in the neighborhoods. Man, now you mentioned you're concerned more kids might be playing basketball, more kids might park. That's great. We want that. Why would we not want to encourage people to use parks? Remember, these are not private lands that only the people that live by it control.
Marshall Park
We
has
want
always
people-
been a park.
Pardon?
It's always been a park. There's always been a soccer field there. There was always a
Where?
basketball hoops at Marshall Park.
Right. So
And
we
when it
want
was by
people,
the school
right.
district, when it was owned by the township.
Township, yeah. Why would we,
It's
why would
always
we
been
want
a
them to
park.
use it?
In fact, they had two separate players in there, the soccer field and the
Two playgrounds.
and everything worked out fine. There was not a problem. It was dawn to dusk, and it was used. It was used by the daycare center extensively throughout the day.
But
And
now
it
if we
was
have an
not a
opportunity
problem.
to expand the use for young people, why not? Why not let them use it? We get the nice thing about Marshall, why it's a great park, it's got its own parking lot. Only 2 parks in this village have its own parking lots. It's great they got it. People by Osborne, the park I grew up on, when they play Little League Baseball there, which they play in the summer still to this day, they line up and down Woodcrest, up and down Briarwood. They would love to have a parking lot so they wouldn't be on the streets there. That's the advantage of Marshall. They got a parking lot, more than enough capacity, as our police told you, to handle the people coming. That's great. They're not parking on our streets, and that's a plus. But we want to encourage people to use parks. We want to discourage them. That's great. Now you got a bathroom that's going to be there. You know how many people would love to have a bathroom in parks instead of the porta potties? They'd love to have that. Every night they'll be locked up. So someone, security guy will go by every night, check them out, and lock them up. So it's safe, it's secure, it's great. But now the kids, instead of going behind the evergreens or behind the row of bushes, which we all did as kids growing up, they got now regular bathrooms to use. That's a great thing for the village. That's not a negative. So I think we should applaud what they're doing, not discourage it. Again, the soccer fields there, the new lights today, the overflow in those backyards be minimal, almost none. They're great, the lights today, to make them go where they should and not go where they used to go. So that's a plus. That's not a negative. And 9 o'clock at night is not late. 9 o'clock, not many of us go to bed before 9 o'clock. So it's not like we're discouraging sleep for people or anything like that. And again, half the year won't be used. Half the year will be.
2 items I'd like to bring up.
Sure.
For some people, 9 o'clock might be the time they're getting up. We live next to an airport. We live next to a hospital. There are shift workers. One of them, before I retired, was what I did, where I needed day sleep, I needed evening sleep, I worked at different hours. So I needed the peace and quiet of a residential home. The second thing, and I'll walk away, my son played at Field 3 at Lions Park. The southwest corner of Rainbow Falls had a bathroom. It was never open, never open. 3 years we played there, it was never open. So you could build it, but you lock it. Thank you.
Okay. One last thing I want to say before I stepping down. You know, peace and quiet. Folks, if you buy next to a park, you're going to have noise there. There's no way around it. That's what a park's for. Kids to go out and have fun, play, yell, call each other. That's what they're for. If you want peace and quiet, I'd strongly advise, don't move next to a park. Find other areas to go. Don't go by a park. You know, we every spring, coming up next month or so, we'll start getting phone calls from people that are upset because a baseball game start.
I really resent
Sir?
the fact that you're telling me to move.
I'm not telling
I
you.
really resent that part.
No, I'm just
I've
saying-
lived there for 43 years, and I've never complained about the noise. I've never complained about the noise from the children playing in the parks. I've never complained about the noise of the children coming out of the townhouse.
Well, you just said
But
now
we
that
had
people
dawn to
don't want the
dusk.
noise.
We had dawn to dusk, and I knew those were the rules. Right now, we are setting ourselves up for a situation where there's no rules. You yourself just said it, what you were saying. Just for the soccer. But the soccer is going to bring in basketball, and the park is going to bring in the kids to play in the park.
Which
and
is
that's going to
great.
be to 9 o'clock.
Well, that's
right.
fine.
But
If
what
there's
about
enough
the
light to play
person
at
who
9,
has to get up
play.
at 10 o'clock to go to the hospital work, to go to the airport to work?
Well,
Should
in the
they all
summer-
move someplace else?
In the summertime.
Thank you.
In the summertime, it's light till that time, 9 o'clock. So, now you're wrong on this one, sir. But again, every year we get calls from people by Audubon Park, by other ones, that people are parking on baseball games. That's why we're having this parking lot here is going to be a plus for you, and the fact that they won't be on our streets. They can use it without impacting too much the neighborhoods. That's a good thing. Anybody else on lights? Jeff, you want to come down?
Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. I know some of you, I've lived in 5 locations around Elk Grove, grew up here, moved here in 1968. So I have a little different perspective than perhaps some of the others that didn't grow up here. First thing, absolutely love the design of this park. I went to the Park District meeting to learn more about it because I didn't know that much about it, but so much forethought was put in to the design of it, the walking path around it, the buffer from the neighbors. The lighting design is phenomenal on that soccer field because they had the lighting engineer at the Park District meeting, and he had the data up there that showed a minuscule amount of overspill into the residents, like 1 candle power. That was like just holding a candle. So just next to zero light spillover due to the LED lighting and the way it lights down, as Mayor Johnson brought up a couple minutes ago. So the lighting shouldn't be a concern. When I spoke at the Park District meeting, I also I remember 1976 growing up here, one of the early years of soccer with the Elk Grove Park District. I specifically remember how those practices were in the spring and fall when the days were shorter. Daylight savings time didn't extend as much as it does now. I recall practicing right across the street here in the field that was there, which did not have any lights at the time. And I remember the second half of soccer practice literally in the dark, trying to kick the ball around. So there is a need like you wouldn't believe for this lighting. And, we got to think of the kids here, right? And as a parent, I remember my stepdaughter and my son sitting out there in those practices at the dark also, wondering when we're going to get lighting at the soccer field. So this is critical. If we want our community to succeed long-term, we have to invest in the amenities that they have in the newer communities. And sometimes we don't have quite the footprint here that they have in the newer communities, but through good design, we can make this stuff work. So for the people in that neighborhood that remember Daniel Cook, who, by the way, saved us from being part of Wisconsin. Daniel Cook is the one that got the border moved north and prevented Chicago from being Chicago, Wisconsin. You can Google it and look it up. But for those that lived around that school, I don't know what is more disruptive to a neighborhood than a grade school there. I've lived around schools. So you got a gift given to you when the school went away and the daycare center, all the commotion that comes with those type of places. So to me, this is minuscule. As far as outsiders using the park, I welcome the people that use the parks in Elk Grove. I walk once or twice a day through Johnson Park in my neighborhood. I've welcomed semi-truck drivers that bring their tractor in there to get out and play basketball on the courts. I always ask them, what brought them here. They drop a trailer off. They come over and recreate to get some exercise at the basketball courts in my neighborhood. I think that's phenomenal that people come to use the facilities in the neighborhoods. Johnson Park has people travel from all over Elk Grove, some of the apartments that don't have parks. So the parks are everybody's, as the mayor had pointed out there. So again, I'm very much in favor. I will say too, many of the parks, including Johnson Park, they have tennis courts that are actually only 50 feet away from the nearest house. So we have these noisier facilities coexisting all over Elk Grove without much issue. So again, I think this is going to be a great park for the community. After I spoke at the Park District, and I did listen to everybody about the pickleball court, and that was the only little reservation I could see. My answer there was, newer technology, noise cancellation technology will eventually make pickleball silent, or they're also working on the equipment to make it silent. But you've addressed the pickleball court issue. So anyway, I think this is an exciting asset to the community, and I hope we go ahead with this. I don't want to discourage the Park District from moving ahead with these very substantial investments in the parks. I've been talking to Commissioner O'Malley, who's seated here tonight, about what we want to do in Johnson Park with walking trails and adult exercise equipment there and more amenities there. So I support this fully. And to the people that ask me where I live, I've lived all over Elk Grove. I've been in every park in Elk Grove. I've worked at 6 locations in the business park. I think I know this community probably close to as much as well as the mayor does up there. So thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Jeff. Thank you. Anybody else wish to address us on the lights tonight at the park? Yes, ma'am.
Oh, jeez. Oh, I'm so sorry. I thought did you mean her?
Oh, I did. I didn't see her getting up.
I'm sorry. No, go ahead. Okay, thank you. Thank you. I'm gonna be so brief because I'm here for pickleball. So, yes, thank you, whoever I was just there, took some pictures of the park. I think it's amazing. I too live Johnson Park. If they put pickleball courts there, that would be wonderful. But I just want to emphasize, Mayor, you are phenomenal with innovation and everything else. Just put in the pickleball courts. That's it.
Where were they on Monday?
I'd like to compliment the mayor on the entrepreneurship that we move through our community. And I'd like to draw your attention to an article about Wheeling Park and Northbrook and Wheaton and Lyle, all of whom have worked with their park districts to take pickleball inside. Cost effective, about $82,000 to put it in, rather than the $450,000 that seems to be circulating around Marshall Park additions and modifications. There are other ways of doing things. And when we take a look at the things that we have talked about with the Park District, looking at the minutes since 2019, there has never been a time where people have come and said, we want to open the park until 10 o'clock at night, we want lighting in the park, and we want pickleball. No minutes reveal that. The only where there has been any conversation since 2019 has been from the commissioners. Not even people from within the Park District itself have come and said, add these. In 2023, in April, the Park District met with the neighbors represented here. All 4 sides of the neighborhood met, and the Park District presented their plan. They did a very, very good job of it. We made a lot of compromises, and the main thing that was said is they did not want lighting, because lighting creates a domino effect, and that domino is we are no longer a dawn to dusk park. And in our area, dawn to dusk is very important. Sitting behind me are representatives from our quads, people who work, who get up early, who have little kids. They are going to have the splash park quite close to them. And as anybody who has been anywhere near the library knows the consequences of that. However, in April, it was agreed that we would have a splash park because the survey that was done recently indicated that 76% of the population in Elk Grove Village is very happy with their parks. And they're happy with their parks because They're devoted to children. They're devoted to walking paths. They're devoted to activities. And they're also devoted to a certain amount of tranquility. And that tranquility happens to be with open space. And the open space is a thing, if you take a look at the picture of our new park, is gone. The information that was sent to me is that we were talking about adding an edifice that would take up 15,000 square feet. And I'm not an accountant, but my understanding is that's about 2 city blocks. That's going to go across the front of Chelmsford. Where did the amenity of a green space go? Where did the aesthetic appeal of that place go? Where did the trees and all the shrubs that flowered and the butterflies and all the rest of it go? I understand soccer. My kids played soccer, but I really don't want my kids out till 10 o'clock playing soccer, do you? The people who live around the park were very adamant about one main thing in April of '23, and that was no lighting and the open green space. From April of '23, not one word has come into this community of all of the people that we spoke to on 4 sides of the park that these changes were being made. I understand the website does not mention the changes. The only way that the people in our area knew what was going on is when a few of us got a hold of the changes after the clerk sent out the letters, which, by the way, did not go to all of the people affected. And we took it around, talked to, in just a matter of a few hours, 60 or more people. No one had seen anything at all about what is being proposed. I think that's rather tragic. The Planning Commission that met last week was astute enough to realize that the biggest problem here is that this is coming down on a neighborhood that has thousands of people around it of various economic conditions, and with kids and older kids and so on. And it's tragic that we live in a neighborhood that has to have this forced down on us with no communication. Now, one of the things that I think you ought to recognize also is that at Rainbow Falls, there's some complaints. And there's some complaints about the crowding, okay? And there's some reasons for it. If you take a look at the Park District Bulletin, they are in the process of registering pickleball for 21-year-olds and over between 6 and 9 o'clock at night, okay? Now that's interesting. How many leagues are we talking about? Well, it takes 3 people to make a team, right? And my understanding from Jason's people is that we're talking about 15. We may go to 18. Well, 15 people, or 15 teams, times 3 is 45. And so we're going to bring 45 cars into the parking. What happens when we would open it in Marshall Park? Well, the overflow from Rainbow Falls can come to Marshall Park. And since it's going to be open, is that what's going to happen? I think our concern needs to be is maybe we need to exercise some interest in options, okay? And use some of our ingenuity and pick up some businesses to make
And
a
that's why,
partnership.
and that's
with-
why we're not talking pickleball tonight.
Oh,
The-
we're not.
No.
Well, but you see, it's all connected. It's
Okay.
connected because it's all in the minutes of the Park District, and they're all connected.
Right.
Because the redesign of the park for which thousands of dollars have been expected, have been done twice, and they're all connected. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anybody else wish to address us on the lights tonight? Yes, ma'am.
Hello, my name is Pat Mitchum. I own the property at 735 Wellington that is right there by Marshall Park. And I want to commend the board for listening to us tonight, and thanks for giving me an opportunity to speak. We came actually to talk about that which shall not be talked about. So I am a bit frustrated because that was our whole, we planned to be here tonight. And I am concerned about the period of abeyance. Is it going to be next week, next month, until all these angry people go away? I would like, I'd like to know exactly how long is this period of abeyance going to be until all the spotlight is off of this conversation?
Well, my understanding is the Park District wants a chance because seeing the people, the concerns, all that, they want to have a chance to go back and I think they're going to evaluate, is this the best place for pickleball or do they have other places they go to? Again, what's going to happen though is if they don't go by yours, they pick another park, those people are going to be upset. The advantage your place had was there's a clean slate and they could put it 200 feet away from the nearest home. If they convert tennis courts in other parks that exist now, for example, Osborne Park, I can't bring it up because I grew up there, that's about 15 feet from the backyard of the nearest home, not 200 feet away. So if they convert existing tennis courts, they really will have some impact on people because they are such close proximity to them. So I think what they were trying to do here was they had some distance. Second thing you brought up by a lot of people, they're worried about the cars. She brought up a good point about cars coming. Where they put a pickleball court at another location, they don't have parking. All of it's on the street. So in a lot of ways, your location wasn't ideal because there's a clean slate, and they could work it in with that. So what they're going to do is go out and look, is there another place they can go to? And there might be. That's why they want to study it. Mm-hmm. Another place they can go to that has the same kind of amenities they could have had here. Mm-hmm. And then they're going to resolve that. But whatever they decide, if they're willing to come back and they say, we found another location, don't worry about it, we're going to put it on these tennis courts at XYZ, then we drop it. We concur with the Plan Commission's recommendation, it goes away. If they come back and say, yes, we want to still work at Marshall Park, then we will put out public notice, and you folks will be made aware of it. Now, I know she mentioned the letters didn't go out. I live on Smethwick, which is, you got Hastings, Shelley, a little bit on Chelmsford, and some on Wellington that back up there. I'm one block in from that. I got the letter. I know my neighbors across the street got the letter. So we send the letters out pretty far out. How far out do they have to go? Do you know, Caroline?
It's 300 feet.
300 feet. So that's pretty far out. I'm a block and a half away, and I got the letters. So it went out to a lot of people out there and stuff like that. But if they're going to come back with a plan at Marshall Park, all the public will be notified again. And you'll be able to come see it just like we'll have to see it again. So that's happening. But they may not. So is it going to be done in next week? I doubt it. They're going to probably want to go out and survey, meet with their board, find out where to go and stuff. I'll be honest, I'm a neighbor, so I'm one of you folks. I live by you. I'm one of you. I thought, as Jeff said, and anyone that follows Facebook, no, Jeff and I do not get along a lot. We don't agree a lot, right, Jeff? But he's correct. I thought the plan the Parchers put together was a very well done plan.
It
was well done. Huh?
The first plan or the
This one now, the one for the pickleball and all that. It was a well planned. They put it as far away from homes as they could. They put up sound barriers around it. They did a lot of work on it. Am I saying it's right or wrong? No, I'm not saying right or wrong. But they did do a pretty thorough job on it. They got more work they said they're going to do. Let them do the work. But again, now, in the minutes, I went back and looked at the minutes from last April that was brought up, April of 23. In the minutes, it was brought up by the Plan Commission, what about lights and pickleball? And the Park District responded, that may be something we look at in the future. They did say that. So no one can say they weren't warned. That may come some point. That was in the minutes. That was out there. They were developing a park development, and that was part of it. But again, you have a chance. But the one thing to understand, folks, and I want to say this all sincerity, you know, I've been here my whole life, and I've been around parks, all that. I worked for the parks in high school and college, cutting grass. They are looking for ways to make it better for people. There's pickleball players out there right now that are upset that they didn't get approved. So there's sides of both sides. But understand one thing that we look at as government. There's a term called NIMBY.
I understand it.
Right. And there's people at that plan commission meeting saying, well, put it over there. Well, put it over there. Well, wait a minute. If it's not good enough to go by your house, why should they pick it up and put it by someone else's house? That's why I said our job, and when Bill came and you came to before a board meeting before, I said, and I was honest, I said, there's a good chance this is going to pass. What you need to work on is ways to mitigate the impact of the development on your quality of life. Because things are going to change. The world changes. Nothing's the same. Do you think the people on Wildwood like going from homes and farmland behind them to one of the best business tech parks in the world? No. But we did a lot of things to mitigate the impact. We built berms. We put in sound walls. We put in landscaping. And you know what? I haven't had one complaint from one person on Wildwood since that development was done. Because we found ways to mitigate. They know things change. Parks are going to change, folks. What Mike Abel, who was just born, not Abel, Arlo, who was just born, what he's going to see in his park in 30 years when I'm long gone is going to be far different than what's in parks today. They're going to change. But when you buy a park, you get the benefits of open space by your home, but you also get the detriment of having a park by you. It's not private land for just you to enjoy. It's meant for the public to enjoy. One real quick story. I used to live at the corner of Cosman and Northampton, right at the start of the bike path in Bussey Woods. I would have cars parked. I had a detached garage on the Cosman. My house was on Northampton. I had cars parked in my detached driveway to use the woods. They'd come out with their bikes, or they come out to walk in, and they're looking at me like, what are you looking at? I said, well, folks, this is my driveway. Oh, it is? I said, where are you folks from? Chicago? We thought it was a parking area, like an alley. So I had the beauty of the woods by me. I also had the detriment of people parking by my house, using the woods. You got to look at the good and the bad. Again, like tonight, we're looking at the lights. The light expert was phenomenal. He explained, Jeff did a good job explaining. 1 foot candle overspill. 40 years ago, you wouldn't have had that. You could have read books in your house. That doesn't exist anymore. So your concerns are mitigated that way. Same thing, pickleball, whether they come back or not. But if you looked at their plan, 200 feet away, that's more distance than those buildings on Devon, those big factories from Walnut, the homes live on Walnut. They got trucks backing up every day, beeping their horns, beep, beep, and they back up. That's closer, those homes, than that. And they were putting up sound barriers. And they're going to put up landscaping, arborvitaes. They went a long way to try to mitigate the impact on you. I mentioned the bill, and I mentioned you, maybe they can berm. They don't need a berm. They got all this other stuff to help do it. But I mentioned maybe get a berm. So things are going to happen. And again, pickleball, because I know people brought up, well, people can come use it. There's 6 courts. If you have doubles, that's 4 people a court. That's 24 people. If everyone came there by themselves in their car, there's still 43 parking spaces left for other people using the park. They've got plenty of park. That's more parking there than they have at Rainbow Falls. They did a hell of a job, folks. They did. But we're open to let them talk to you more and study it further. But I'm just telling you from someone looking from the outside, and this board, we all got the plans like you looked at. We all look the same thing. They did a nice job. They really did. They do care about you. They do care about your quality of life. But at the same token, they want to take care of everyone. People on the west side, people in the old neighborhood where I grew up, they all want to do it and stuff. Last thing I'll leave and then go on. Remember, most people that play pickleball are like me, white hairs. It's older people. It's not 15-year-old kids out there, 9 middle night, riding bikes. some younger people, but look around the other people here that play pickleball. What color hair do we all have? So I'm just saying, it's, you know, it's a different thing. So, well, I'm saying that. Again, they're going back. We're not doing pickleball tonight. They're going back to study it. It's just the lights that are being addressed. But they did mention that back in April of 23. In honesty, I wish they would have done it back then. They should have done it.
That was never brought up at the meeting. We were at.
In April 23?
At the meeting.
At the Plan Commission?
No, no.
I'm saying at the Plan Commission. At the Plan Commission.
Not revealed in
Right.
the conversation to the community at the meetings that were held.
Right, but at the Plan
Agreed
Commission.
upon it, it was never mentioned.
Okay, but at the Plan Commission, where they publicly discussed it and got approval, they did talk about it.
Well,
It was
unknown
discussed.
to the population.
But that's why we put, and that's why, ma'am, we put the notice out before they are gonna put them in. They had to put notice out to meet with you again, to discuss it, and they did.
Well, where should we look for these notices? Because I just heard by word of mouth.
If they come back, well, what street you live on? If you're within 300 feet,
735
you would have gotten a letter if you were within 300 feet. I know the letters around because I got them and stuff there. I was within well 300 feet. I will do this. Here's what's going to happen. If the park district comes back and says they want to drop it, nothing happens, it's gone, we'll send a letter out to everyone from Cosman to Wellington, from Arlington Heights Road to Chelmsford. And include the townhomes, Versailles, Bordeaux. All of them will get a letter from us saying they dropped it, the pickleball's gone. If they decide they want to talk more about it, I will send a letter out to the exact same homes again that I just mentioned, letting you know they're going to talk about it, what the date it is, and you can come and see it. And I'm going to go one further. I'm going to require them to post any plans they're going to present that night online 10 days before the meeting. So you get a chance to read it and review it before, because I agree with you on that. We didn't see it until it was brought that, so we will make sure it's out there 10 days in advance, and everyone in that area will get a notice to check the website, to look at the plans, and where the meeting's going to place and what time. That I will promise you.
Okay, thank you.
And I always deliver.
And one other thing, I was by the site today, walked past it, and it was talking with one of the workmen, and they just said that the pickleball courts has always been part of the plan.
That I can't answer. That I can't answer. So I can't answer that.
Yeah, so I just, I'm a little concerned about transparency because I'm on social media a lot. And they, I would say, okay, this is what's happening, and this is the pickleball court, and somebody thinks I'm delusional because they were there today, and there's no plan right on the fence at the work site about pickleball. Well, because it's the original plan. It's not what they're trying to push through now.
And that's why I'm changing it.
Thank you.
I'm telling you what's going to happen from this point on. You will be made aware if they change.
This isn't us.
Yeah, if they drop it, we'll send a letter out, tell you it's gone over. If they're going to modify, we'll send you a letter, tell you where you can see the plans and when the meeting takes place.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
I got to say something because this is park. You elected a park district board. They do the parks. We're only here to say what can be done if it's out of, say, code and that. That's what we're here to do. The park district is a separate government entity. They should be doing all this with you. Well, I'm just saying, but that's not our responsibility. He's going farther than he should, basically, in my book, of letting everybody know that's their job. That's what they do. So you should be watching that. But while I'm on here and I'm addressing, someone yelled out to where Mr. Schneider lived. Where does he live? He lives in Elk Grove. We're here for 33,000 people, not just a handful, not just this. Everybody, there's kids, there's families out there, and I don't see a lot of people with families here. We all had our kids. There's families out there that want to use these parks and need to have some stuff. Their kids need to play more soccer. And if they have to go a little bit in the dark in the spring or fall, then that's what has to happen. But this park is made for everybody. Before it was just playgrounds for kids. Now we're trying to include everybody because there's so many more people doing different stuff. But I know there's people out there that aren't even close to this park, and it doesn't affect them, this lights, but they're here to talk about it, which is their right. But don't shoot down Mr. Schneider for coming here and saying his opinion. He is a resident of Elk Grove, and there's tons of residents out there that are for this stuff. I spent the whole weekend talking to zillions of people because of what happened last Monday. People asking questions. I said, I don't know. Come to the meeting. You'll see. We don't know what we're going to do. So you got to remember, we're thinking of everybody in Elk Grove, not just one. You know, we wouldn't have had, you like the hospital? Is the hospital good? Is that? You wouldn't have had it like it is if people didn't fight because they didn't want the interchange. There's people that didn't want Biesterfield expanded so you can get to Home Depot. There's always something that people don't want, but it's for the good of everybody. And again, we try to do it. I thought people would be happy that the pickleball was pretty much removed, because when I sat at this meeting, all I heard was, oh, the sound in the parking. We're going to hear noise and parking, noise and parking. That's taken care of. Well, maybe, but that's not our thing. That's why we don't do that. They do. They're the park district. You go to their board meetings, talk to them. We're not going to put this in.
That's fine with us.
I know. I'm just saying, we're not the people that are going to make that final decision. If they're going to go on or not, they are. You need to talk with them. And somebody said about sports also with lighting. Since '92, I coached and I ran programs for kids forever, 16 years. And we would have killed to get lights somewhere. And we always asked for lights. Now, whether it was in a park board meeting, I don't know, in minutes, we all knew the commissioners. So we would talk, but we always wanted lights because we were shut down. There's fall soccer. You couldn't practice after school. It was dark. So we were asking for lights places, but they said, well, we didn't have the money, we didn't have this and that. But it was always somebody wanted to have extra lights for someplace. And I think we're trying to work it out with everybody and try to do it. But there is a need for that for sports, just to do it. Now, does it have to be right and work with the neighbor as best as they can? But nobody wants anything by them. It's like that. And I can understand if you're living there, that's your choice. But you got to think of, it's the whole town that's involved in this.
I understand, and you are right in saying that it's a little bit of a win that you've put the pickleball courts in advance, but it's such a nebulous term, we don't know if we're going to be here next
We're not
month.
discussing it at this point.
Right.
You'll have to watch the park. Now, if they want to come back again with it, you'll know about it. And or you should watch the park board meetings, they're on TV.
But we said we're going to go the extra step to be informative to you, and we're going to let you know. Because at the end of the day, one thing you are right, we will have the final say on those pickleball courts if they do it at Marshall Park, because of changing, it's called PUD? Planet Unit Development. We have to make the final decision. Normally, we don't get involved because we're not a park board. They got elected own commissioners. But this, because it was a school, now a new development, we have to have the final say. And that's unusual. So that's why, again, our job is not to say if pickleballs are needed. Our job is not to say if soccer's needed. That's not our expertise. That's park commissioners' expertise. That's what they do. But we are there to make sure if they do something, it is workable with the community and the neighbors. And again, like I told the folks last board meeting, it may be coming, but we'll try to mitigate the impact on you by having a berm or fencing or sound walls. They mitigate it by putting distance and sound barriers around the court. So again, that's our job to make sure it can coincide with the people that live there. That's our job. Not if pickleball is popular. We don't know. We don't study that. If basketball is popular, we don't study that. We can see with our own eyes, but that's just our biased opinion. It's not a professional opinion that they have. So again, we will be involved because it's a unique situation. But if they want to put pickleball courts at Osborne Park, we have nothing to do with that at all. Nope. We're completely out of that because that's already developed as a park. They can make whatever change they want as a board. This is a new development. That's why we're involved. That's why we're going to take the extra step and let you know if they do come back. That whole area will get notes delivered to them each house.
Thank you.
We appreciate that.
John?
John Walls, Elk Grove Park District Commissioner. I just want to say a few things because I want to clean up maybe some of the anger or the tense I'm on the park board. We heard you at the meeting in front of us at the Elk Grove Park District. There was a few. We appreciated your comments. And then a couple of us were here for the Planning Commission. We appreciated your comments again, and we've heard your comments today. What you did worked. What you did, the way we're supposed to do it is, it worked. Our board heard you, and we decided maybe this isn't the right spot for pickleball. Maybe we could find something else. Now, to the mayor's point, we didn't want to let this planning commission go by, so we took pickleball off. That doesn't mean we're not going to put pickleball somewhere else. I'm 20% of the vote. So we have to get our due process, like Ben said at the planning commission, we have to study it. You can't just drop them anywhere. So whether it's repurposing tennis courts somewhere, whether it's finding another park, which is, I'll be honest, it's going to be tough to find any other park that would take pickleball, to what Mayor Johnson said. So I just want to let you know, you've done your work, you've done your job. We hear you, we appreciate you, and we will come to some solution. Now, as far as letting know when our meetings are, I personally promise I will let everybody know in that neighborhood. We will let everybody know, and you'll have the same voice again. Okay? So, again, thank you. What you did worked. Now, I've got Mr. Willard staring at me saying, yeah, well, I wanted pickleball courts. You didn't work for me. But just so you understand, don't leave angry. Leave knowing that what you did worked, and the Park District will do the very best we can. If it comes back and pickleball courts, which are huge demand, we have study after study. I can't say it's not going to go into Marshall Park, but kind of see where we're headed here. So I appreciate you all.
Thank you very much.
And thank you all.
And understand, John backs up to the soccer field. I think the light at one of the corners is almost in your backyard, John?
That light splash will affect me the most, and it's 0.3.
So he's got the most impact of anyone living by where the lights go.
Green number.
Yeah, so, you know, we all have the good and bad. Anybody else before we vote on the lights issue tonight? Anything else on the?
Can I say one thing?
Yeah, Trustee Schmidt?
I guess I'm the only trustee up here that lives by a park. I live across from a park, and I put up, there's no parking. I put up with the baseball every year. It's going to start in a couple of weeks with the practices. We got a playground where people come from all over the neighborhood, the village. They come to the park, and they park their cars in front of our houses during the summer. You live by a park, you're going to have some inconveniences, but there's also a lot of good things about living by a park, and I wouldn't live anywhere else except where I live now across from a park. But there are pros and cons to it, and we all have to put up with it. And there's a lot of people in this village that live by parks, and I think about the park at Verde and Crest, when they have baseball there during the summer. What? Softball, yeah. They're all parked in the streets in front of people's homes. We don't hear complaints about that. People live there, they accept it. So live by a park, you got to accept some things, but there's a lot of good things about living by a park. And I wouldn't live anywhere but near a park, across from a park. I really like it where I live.
Trustee Pocknell?
Just want to add one thing. How many of you have a dog and would love to have a dog park in Elk Grove Village?
No.
For 20 years, we have been trying to get a dog park in Elk Grove Village,
Don't go there.
and that's the situation, not in my backyard. So
Oh, okay, I get your point. I get your point.
thank you.
Any other commissioner or trustees have any questions?
Nope.
If not, we need a direct,
Wait a
oh,
minute.
go ahead, ma'am. Go ahead.
I just want to know how long it's going to take the people to come and sew up once the kids or whatever make holes so they can park on Boardwalk and go through it. How long is it going to take somebody to come and fix that hole?
Oh, and the fences?
Because you know it's going to happen, because people will see a parking place on Boardwalk and they're going to park in it, and somebody will come home from work and not be able to park.
Well, if you catch them, please call the police.
There was supposed to be stuff put up.
I'm trying to think.
It's a fence.
That was addressed.
But they didn't want a gate. I don't think she's hearing. But
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Anybody else before we, making sure? See, as Pastor Stefan said, it's a season of miracles with Easter coming up. Jeff Snyder and I agreed on stuff. So there's miracles in this world. It works, right, Jeff?
The world too.
We got it. Okay. We got to have prepare the attorney to prepare documentation, legal documentation, separate the two issues. The pickleball court is removed and tabled at this time, and we'll focus just on the lights at the soccer field only to be installed with a 9 p.m. time limit on there. So I need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by trustee Miller, second by trustee Frankie. Voice vote, right? Because you got prepared. Actually, there's. Lori, call the roll.
Trustee Schmidt?
Aye.
Trustee Frankie?
Aye.
Trustee Miller?
Aye.
Trustee Prochnow?
Aye.
Okay, so what's going to happen is the attorney prepared necessary documents. The board formally adopted on April 9th. It's going to be on the consent agenda, so we won't even be open for discussion again. It's done now. The lights will be allowed to be installed, but they will be the lights that the parks is described with that expert at the Plan Commission meeting. And they will be held accountable that the light spillage and all the rest will be what was predicted. So Ben, understand? Okay, I wish you had him here tonight. I know, we didn't think of it. So as long as that's it, you've got permission to move forward on that from the board.
9
And
9
you're
o'clock.
set with that?
9 o'clock, shut off.
Yeah, we said 9 o'clock shut off. They know that. So, okay, so folks, that's where we stand. Again, light situations resolved on the soccer field. The other item, we will make sure you know in advance, 10 days before the meeting. It will be posted on a website. In the letter from us, we'll tell you what website to look at. If you have a question, call. We'll make sure you get a copy of it.
Yeah.
Okay? Thank you, folks, for coming tonight. We'll give you a second if you want to go ahead and go.
In fact, when I get home, I'll be going into the park with my puppet dog.
There you go.
Take him out for
I
his-
was in Heffern Park this morning with my son's puppy dog.
Yeah.
You're supposed to fix it, that's right.
Yeah.
I mean, people live around parks.
It's your
And there are
shift.
no, I mean, Heffern Park could not accommodate
They kick them,
anything
no,
else.
no.
Nothing.
I remember when I was on the street. But the people lived around and never complained because they knew it. They knew it was accepted.
We're watching tonight. Okay, well, the folks are leaving. We'll go ahead and start the rest of the board meeting. Report from Recycling Waste Committee.
Oh, that's me.
See, I'm not the only one who spaces.
I'd like to talk about pickleball. Yeah, what do I want to talk? Oh, we have the paint and motor oil recycling program coming up May 4th from 9 to 12 at the Public Works Facility on Devon. There's a list here. It's only for oil, antifreeze, and paints. Do not bring anything else. They won't take spray paint or anything else. I will also talk about it at the next few meetings, but that's coming up in April 1st. We'll start the special leaf collection, which people are to put their leaves out that have not been cleaned up since over the winter, put it in the street by April 1st, or on April 1st. We'll be by within the week to pick it up. And also pick up for grass and all that from Groot. Will also start on April 1st for the season. That's all I have.
Okay, Judiciary Planning Zoning Committee, Trustee Prochnow.
No report.
Capital Improvements Committee, Trustee Schmidt.
Yes, in the current issue of The Villager on page 4 and 5, it talks about our capital improvement plans on the road maintenance program for this year. So please read it. It outlines all the streets that are going to be repaved and other information regarding the some other construction projects in our community. And that concludes my report.
Capital Improvements Committee, Trustee.
Yep, that was
just
it.
that. Cable Television Committee, Trustee Jarrett's not here. Any report from any cable members?
No.
Seeing none, hearing none. Youth Committee, Trustee Bush not here. Anybody have a report?
I do, actually. We wanted to make sure that there's a reminder, again, for seniors, there's 7 $1,000 scholarships with the Elk Grove Youth Committee. The deadline is April 8th at 5 p.m. So please, seniors, get your scholarship applications in. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Information Committee, Trustee Miller.
I do. I'm not I don't have a Facebook page or a Facebook account, but I do get on the village website, and I can get to the Elk Grove Village Facebook. I can get to the Elk Grove Police Department Facebook. I can get to the Fire Department Facebook. And I was excited to see on March 14th, which is Pie Day, that the Fire Department had an apple pie recipe on that fire department Facebook page, and it was the best apple pie I had ever made, I think. So thank you. I made one.
Why
So
don't you bring it to us?
I'm sorry. I will next time. On the Public Works site, they explained about flushable wipes. And I don't know how many of you think that flushable wipes are good for our sanitary system, but they are not. As a video that was prepared by your staff, Colby, they created this video showing that these flushable wipes do not break down. And so that was very informative. Again, thank you. And there's so much to find, not only just by newsletters, but by the website and by Facebook, even though if you don't have an account, it is on the website. So that concludes my report.
Thank you. Business Leaders Forum, Trustee Schmidt.
No report.
Health and Community Services, Trustee Prochnow.
No report.
Personnel Committee, Trustee Schmidt.
No report.
Airport update, we have no update at this point about the Fly Quiet, but we are still working on it. Maggie, you see the articles in the paper recently about the little confrontation between United American and Chicago on the, you see that one, George? Yeah. Is that the cost? Billions?
20 years ago you said that.
Yeah, billions. It's supposed to be $6 billion when Daily first announced it 21 years ago, and now I think they're over $40 billion and growing. Not working. And no, they still do not have the number of flights they had in 2004.
And you didn't talk about the passenger fee that was killing it.
One of the highest.
Yeah.
It's going to kill the airport. We said that. It's going to have to be paid by the taxpayers or by the airlines. They're not going to do it.
Yeah.
That's right. Everything we said, George, came out true. No report parade meeting. Next one is Monday, April 1st. Georgie, quickly, Midsummer Concert Classic Series. First one, 4th of July.
Be the Beach Boys.
Second one, here at the Town Center.
Martina McBride.
Third one, part of Rotary Fest.
Neon trees. I finally learned the trees part.
And we have a special announcement coming up at a board meeting in April. We're going to do a little something more for the Rotary Fest, and we'll be announcing shortly. Caroline's got to get ready to get it up on screen. We'll be showing that. Let's do it the 9th? Yeah. Let's do it April 9th. We'll unveil it.
I'm just glad you didn't ask me, because I have no idea.
I know. Just wait and see. Okay, after Neon Trees, we have...
Four Tops.
And we finish up with...
Brett Michael.
Very good. Coming soon. Special events, Memorial Day at the Pavilion, rain or shine. Yes, no items, Liquor Commission. Report from Village Manager.
No report.
Report from Village Clerk.
I just want to give everybody a total, grand total of ballots that cast for Elk Grove Village. Early voting was 1,400. We had 88 of them for ballot drop box.
That's all, 1,400. Yeah. So that's about less than 100 a day, because they were open 15 days. Duh. Okay, any unfinished business? Let me look. Nope, nothing there as usual. Any trustees have new business items? Seeing none, hearing none? In the audience, anybody wish to address the board? Mr. Snyder, come on down.
Twice.
Couple of questions, and I had noted them down on the thing there. So, a couple of things I wanted to just put out as information on the red-white cameras, and I think the mayor knows my opinion on the red-white cameras, but I do think it's important I give you information that I learned that you might not be aware of. So, I don't know who put up the new signs by the red-white cameras. They tell motorists that you are allowed to turn right on red after complete stop. And they're not where a normal sign would be. They're on the post where the camera is. So I don't know if the red light camera put those up or you know, the village or the state. But it rings to me to a point that, and I actually have two friends that will not turn right on red anymore, no matter what. And that's their right to do that. But they do cause motor, what do you want to call it? They can cause some road rage and some disruption of the traffic. So that's one of those side things that comes with the cameras. And then the
Well,
other.
you didn't say, Jeff, they might call road rage a little upset, but they cause no accidents either.
Okay.
So that's good.
Unless someone rear ends you at a red light.
Nope, those numbers actually down.
Oh.
Yep, numbers down for rear-end accidents, red light. They always say it causes more. Studies show it's the opposite, less, because people are more prepared, more astute, more aware of what's going on.
Do they not understand the wordage?
No.
I'm just saying where it says you can turn if you stop.
Yeah, it's more of a protest thing.
Okay. So
You know, Mayor
they're-
Johnson, you know my former neighbor, Jim.
Jim, the guy who won't turn red?
Yeah, Jim Costas. He lived
Oh,
here
I
for
know,
40
yeah.
years. You remember Jim,
moved.
right?
He's in Arizona having a ball.
Yeah, he is, but he got a ticket on one of those cameras about 10 years ago, and he's like, I don't care how many people are honking, I won't turn right on red.
And that's his right.
It is.
Actually, it's safer.
Yeah.
Until we started right turns on red, we had far less right turn accidents. It's when they allowed right turn on red, the accident numbers went up. And again, we had the death of the mother and daughter at Oakton and Bussey by a guy turning right on red. And that's...
I get it, and I'm a safety person myself in my occupation, so I get what you're saying. So I'm just letting you know some of the collateral issues that come up with it. A second issue, I had a colleague at work, and he lives in Schaumburg, but his family goes to church here in Elk Grove over on that church on Nergy by the curve, by Nergy and Devon over there. And she's gotten a couple of red light tickets in Elk Grove, so he really resents Elk Grove because they pass like 3 cameras getting
And
off
you know
the
what?
expressway. So.
You know what? If they got more than one ticket, we don't want them driving in Elk Grove.
That's exactly it.
They're dangerous.
Tell them, are they in Schaumburg? Tell them to stay.
Yeah, west side of Schaumburg.
We don't want them, if they're in multiple. I said this before. 2 of my kids got red light camera tickets.
Yeah.
And I tell them the same thing. Well, you're going to stop next time.
Yeah, I've gotten a couple too. So the next issue I want to bring up, I really feel it's a social equity issue, the red light cameras. Let me explain why. So I've been fortunate enough to have a great job and career and be able to buy a new vehicle about every 10 years. And my current vehicle, which is a 22 model, has a red light camera warning system integrated in the vehicle. Even
Really?
if the radio is turned.
Wait. No, he said 2022.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I never
2022.
heard that before. What does this do now?
So my Ram pickup with the 12-inch infotainment system, it works off the GPS. It chimes 3 times at full volume when you're coming up to any red light camera, and it even knows the direction you're traveling. It won't ping if the camera's on the cross street, but if it's the direction you are, it warns me and it puts a little message up, red light camera.
Is that great?
Yeah.
That is great. Maybe that's be even better.
Well, it's
Maybe
great
get
if
more
you-
red light cameras. Then every corner they'll know to stop. It's not
It's
bad.
great if you can afford a new car that warns you, but the people in the lower income levels that buy 10, 20-year-old cars, they're going to be a lot of years till their car has it. So I see it as a little bit of a social equity issue, and also
My car doesn't have it.
I don't have that.
I don't have
Does anybody up here have a car?
I didn't even know about
Anybody
it.
have it?
So I don't think it's a social economic thing. It's someone that hasn't bought a new car. A lot of people don't buy new cars all the time. So that's not an
Yeah, well,
economic
the
thing.
other issue on the social equity front is that $100 ticket really impacts lower income.
And you know what's
families,
amazing about that, though, Jeff? I'm serious, all serious, all joke aside, serious. If you follow the law, you have nothing to worry about. You won't pay it. If you don't follow the law, you have no one to blame but yourself. It doesn't discriminate. You can be rich, poor, white, black. Doesn't matter to the camera. You follow the law, you're fine. You break the law, you should be held accountable. So that has nothing to do with economics or social. It is a unbiased. It tickets rich people, poor people the same. Just follow the law. You have nothing to worry about. In life, very few things you have complete control over. You do have complete control over that issue. The other things, act of God's can affect it. This, you completely control it.
Yep. I'm just throwing those out there for your info. So
I
there's
appreciate
always
it.
two
Well, I'm
sides,
glad
so.
to hear about that car.
Yeah, I never knew that.
I never
I
heard
gotta
of it.
check that out. That's neat. I'm serious. I gotta see that.
Yeah, my car turns into McDonald's automatically. I don't figure that out.
Anything else, Jeff?
Yeah, I'd written down signage. Two sign issues on village streets. So if you're traveling on Kennedy Boulevard East toward Grove Junior High, and you get maybe 200-300 feet from Elk Grove Boulevard, there's the apartments on the right side. I'm not sure if they're called Jefferson Square, Washington Square. Yeah. So there's a driveway in there, and there's a street sign in the parkway, marking the street, and I think the numbers. But it's like 40, 50 years old. It's all rusty. It's not the latest.
I think that's privately owned.
Private property.
That's
Yeah,
that's a private sign.
Or on the
Well,
side of it?
I can't tell you for sure. Okay. However, I want to
That,
present.
we got it here. That's private property.
Yeah.
It's a private sign.
So now if you, let me present why we're not equitable on that situation. So over on the west side of town, if you're traveling west on Biesterfield and you pass, I believe, Home Avenue, and then there is some townhouses there, brick-faced townhomes on the north side, which that is a private driveway there.
Columbia, those right
Yeah,
there. Columbia
and that is a private, condo association road. It looks like a village road, but it's not.
It's owned by them.
Okay, that has a village sign marking that street.
Hang on, we're gonna look at it just a
Yep,
second.
Yep.
Is that village?
I think it's Columbia.
The street is not, yeah.
No, that's a private sign. Even though it's a black pole, if you look at the top, Columbia, that's an old, huh?
Whole might be ours, because it's
Yeah.
got the
But the
decorative
sign's not
base.
ours.
Sign's not ours.
The sign's not ours.
And the streets are owned by that development.
Street light?
Huh? Yeah, no, it doesn't.
I'm
It's
pretty
old.
sure it is a village one. If you, I would just encourage you to look at it because, I mean, to me, I get what you're saying. It's private, but to me, we should mark the street. It just makes it really tough to navigate for visitors.
Well,
and
what we
such.
should do is contact the association, tell them to fix their sign. That bottom looks funny. Hang on, screw me on the bottom.
Well, it has a frame around it,
No,
like
it doesn't have a frame on it. We're looking at it right now.
Okay.
I mean, at least the one we're looking at does not have a frame. But the base is a different color. It's like all chipped off. We'll check out and see, but we'll show you, Jeff. It doesn't have a frame. It's just like an old-fashioned street sign from like 50 years ago. So maybe one time the village gave it to them, but I'm looking at it right now.
Well, wouldn't it be nice if they had village signs on the parkway? I mean, if they're an official street name.
Well, if it's private property, we're not. I'd love to have the village do stuff on my private property, but we'll check it out and see what's going on with it. We can let the association know to upgrade their signs. The one on the west side is nice shape. It says Columbia, you can read it. It's fine there. So, but we'll check on that. We can check.
And one more signage issue, and I've requested this before, I'm going to say it again. So it's Biesterfield, west of Rawling, between Rawling and Meacham. So again, the curves there where we lose cars off the road, and
Drunk drivers going in the houses, you mean?
there's that,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
However, we have inconsistency in the way those curves are marked. They're not all marked ahead of time. And again, just a warning sign consistently, you could put 20 mile per hour below it to emphasize it's a curve to slow down. And it's not only, the east one or the west one, they're just not signage warning of the curves that are consistent. There is one curve warned and then not the other one. So please look at that for consistency.
What we'll do is we'll have our traffic unit go out and look at it and see there's standards we have to follow.
Yep.
If we don't follow standards, we can put liable if something happens. So we'll have Danny Burks make a note. We'll take a look at that. One thing I want to make people aware so they're not thinking on TV, we don't have a lot of accidents because of the curve there. The ones we've had recently are drunk drivers. So we know that. So it's not a problem for people driving Biesterfield by any means. Meets all the standards. The accidents don't support any problems. I want to make sure people understand that. The ones that have happened, the people are drunk. They were drunk. And they'll do that on a curve or a straight street, unfortunately. So, but before you go, we got the poles. They all look private, the poles. You actually can see at the bottom where people weed eat when they're trimming the guys. It's all gone. It's painted silver poles, and they're painted black. See, those aren't ours.
Okay.
That's what I thought.
So
But-
then maybe the rusty one, we could step up the maintenance on it, or?
Well, it's not
Well, no, it's not ours.
Well, write a letter to them, right?
Yeah, we can
It looks
ask
really
them.
nasty, the one over by the junior high. It's like 40 years old and looks
Yeah,
horrible.
we can ask them. But yeah, that's a great thing, I guess, about Google. We actually can see them right now. We right up. They came right up for us, and you can see at the bottom the silver, and the paint's like chipped off. They took those silver poles and painted them black, which is nice. It matches closer to ours than what they had. So, but we can follow up. The ones by Columbia, by your home, they're in good shape. The names, but the one by Elko Boulevard, that's in bad shape. We'll look at that.
Okay. very
Okay?
good. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anybody else tonight? Helen, how's the world going? I see you in a month,
Yes, the 23rd.
4 weeks from today.
This lady here has her son with her, and she'd be really glad to go to a park and her kid go there and play, rather than he's been on the phone all the time.
Yeah, you're close to it.
Do you know what her favorite thing is, though? Coffee with the board.
No, it's his. He likes the donuts.
And one of the best behaved children I've
Yes.
ever seen.
Tell him make sure you get some chocolate
very
before he
proud of
goes.
him.
I got some chocolates.
He's gonna have a park he can play at.
Anything else? Okay, we need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
We have motion by trustee Miller,
Whatever.
second by trustee Schmidt. Lori, call the roll, please.
Trustee Miller?
Aye.
Trustee Frogner?
Aye.
Trustee Schmidt?
Aye.
Trustee Frankie?
I'm just waiting. Hi.
Motion adjourned, passes 4-0. Folks, have a very happy Easter, blessed holiday. Meeting adjourned.
Davey knows a thing or two about getting results. So do we.